Hi, I'm Peggy at Headshots by Peggy, and today on the Headshot, we are going to go over some things that I'm sure you already know, but it's going to be a great reminder and a great review for you. Now, before we get started, I want to put a few things into perspective for you. First of all, always remember that your headshot is the biggest part of your marketing strategy. That means no matter what industry standards are, no matter what advice you get, if you feel like you want to do something different, you are allowed to do whatever you want. They are yours. So what I share with you on these videos are things that I've learned over the years with 30 years of experience, plus things that I've learned from industry professionals like directors, casting directors, actors. All these things that I share are industry standards. They are what people typically want to see. It's normally, in my opinion, always a good idea to follow industry standards. But again, sometimes the best part of art is knowing the rules and being able to break them. So again, you always use your best judgment in your marketing strategy. Okay, so now we're going to get into a little bit about things that different people ask me, different things that I've noticed, and just kind of go over a quick little review of headshots. Okay, so clearly a headshot is just that. It's a shot of your head. It's a close-up. It shows, the purpose of this headshot is to show you, your face, your expression, who you are. All those things have to come out in only a headshot, in something that's close up. So all of your emotions, the role that you're trying to portray, that, hey, I would be a great attorney, I would be a great mom, I would be a great whatever that role is, that has to come through right here. So it's very, very important that you don't do things like wear big bright jewelry. Even ladies, earrings, you know, it's looked down on. Maybe if it's something really simple, but you don't want to do anything that's going to detour, you know, take their eyes away from right here. Now, when is it a good time to break that rule? If that is the role you're trying to portray. You are, you know, a punk rocker or, you know, a goth, and you have piercings and you have, you know, and that's part of the thing that you want to show, then absolutely, that's the time you would break that rule, because that's part of showing the character. Okay, so, but as a rule of thumb, industry standards, let's not do much jewelry, because that's not, we don't want the casting director to go, oh, that's a cute necklace, or, oh, look at those earrings. That's not the point. They have seconds to make a decision. So you want all of their attention on you, on your face. Okay, so another thing that's a great thing to do in headshots, once you get to your headshot session, always talk to your headshot photographer, first of all. You should have a headshot photographer that is willing to take a phone call with you, or even a coffee with you if you have tons of questions. All those should be taken care of before you show up for your session. But I always recommend that for men, if you do the 5 o'clock shadow from time to time, or you go, you know, that's something that you can do in a day or two's time, you know, grow some, you know, little bit of facial hair, then let's start the session with the facial hair. And then you can take a break and go shave, and then we can do the clean cut picture. So that's always an idea to think about, like, how can I get the most out of my headshot session? Well, that's one way, changing your facial hair, guys. Now, ladies, or people that can't grow facial hair and have longer hair, or hair that you can, you know, change your style, change your hairstyle. Whether it's parting it the other way, putting it up in a ponytail, you know, curling it, straightening it, whatever that may be, that gives a whole new look that, you know, can go from, you know, a college student to, you know, professional dressed in a hairstyle. So keep those kind of things in mind. And yes, makeup is always, you know, something. I personally am a big fan of really natural makeup, but if that's not the role that you're trying to portray, your business or your something more, high class, whatever, blah, 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 and you're going to need that makeup, then start your photo session with light makeup and then build up. And therefore, you're getting different looks as you go. So these are just kind of some tips to kind of, I guess, utilize your time with your photographer, because we all know that, headshots are an investment. So we want to make sure you're getting the most possible bang for your buck. So those are some things, to really think about. The other thing that I don't like at all, and that's big prints or patterns, anything that's going to be distracting. Because remember, your headshot's right here. You're not going to see anything but your collar line, a little bit of your shirt, a little bit of your arms, a little bit of your shoulders, really. So make it a solid color, something that's not, if it is a print, a small print, something that's not distracting. Again, maybe that's part of a character that you want a character shot for a commercial or, or something specific. Then of course, that's the time you would break that rule. But industry standards, you want to kind of keep it something that's not going to distract from your face. You don't want anything taking the spotlight of your thumbnail, because you remember, casting directors are looking at little thumbnails. They just have seconds to catch that. So make sure that when they look at your thumbnail, you're making eye contact with them and you catch their attention, not your shirt or your necklace or your earrings, etc. Okay? Another thing that I have a major pet peeve, and this is absolutely industry standard, do not do this. Hands, none of this, okay? Those are cute portraits, and those were cute in the 80s, but this is 2020. Hands, we don't need hands in your headshot. It's not a hand shot, it's a headshot. So no hands. Even be careful if you've got your arms folded, or things like that. Now, I know sometimes in commercial shots, people want, to get that excitement going and that, that's fine. What I tell my clients is if you need, because I'm a hand talker, so I get it. If you need to use your hands to get the energy, that's fine. Use your hands to get the energy. Just use them a little bit lower so that we can crop them out. You know what I mean? So I get that, because my hands help me talk as well. And there are a lot of people that can't get that emotion, can't get there without using their hands. And that's totally fine. Just put them down lower so that, your photographer can crop them out and you don't have fingers, hanging out in your headshot or, whatever that may be. So make sure hands are an absolute no-no. And there's just really, if you want to break this rule, that's on you. I personally see no reason to ever break this rule. Hands, because it's a close-up, so you're getting like a partial hand always, and it's not, I don't like cut off body parts, so, when it's not at a proper cropping point. So that's me, but it is also industry standards. We don't need hands in the headshots. We don't need props in the headshots. If you're trying to look athletic, a team jersey, a sports jersey, something like that is enough to portray that. You don't need a basketball or a football or a bat or a glove or whatever. You don't need that. Same with hats. I'm very, very rare. Now, there are times that you want a hat, but very rare. You don't want to wear a hat for, as a rule of thumb, in a headshot, because again, it's going to take away from your head shape. It's going to take away from who you are and what the casting director is specifically looking for. So you want to take away as many no's as you can. You want to take away anything negative that can be taken away, so that at first glance, they want to take a second glance and a third glance and call you in for an audition. So these are things that make it easier. Everything in your headshot should make it very easy for the casting director to say, that's who I want. So that's the goal. We don't want to do anything that's going to irritate or, Also, this is really important. It needs to be said, because headshots are typically portrait. That means the long ways this way and the short way this way, like a portrait. Not long like a video, tall like a portrait. Now, a couple of years ago, it kind of got trendy to do headshots vertical, or I'm sorry, horizontal. Horizontal headshots kind of became like a little fad for a little while. And I think the thought was you would stand out, but here's what actually happened. Casting directors would get super irritated because their screen is set up, you know, the thumbnails go like this. So if all of a sudden they have one, you know, all the thumbnails like this and then one thumbnail going this way, it like screws the spacing up, it messes everything up, and then they have to click on it and either turn or, you know, so it was more irritating. So that's why we have industry standards. I know it's like your headshot's supposed to be industry standard, and yet it's supposed to pop and stand out in all this sea of headshots. So it's almost like a contradiction. It's like, how am I supposed to stand out and be different if I'm supposed to be the same as everyone else? Well, that's where A, you come in, and B, a good headshot photographer comes in, because where you're different is right here. That emotion, the way you catch their eye, all those little tiny lighting and you know, the way you tilt your head, the way you lean in, the way you capture the lens, and all those emotions that are supposed to come out in your headshot versus a headshot that's just, you know, a blank smile, no emotion, no feeling. So that is where you get to be different and stand out, is because you have that, you know, shining out of you, and you know, you have a headshot photographer that captures that and puts that into an image, and that's how your headshot stands out, not by doing something crazy out of industry norms. Because again, a casting director is looking at thousands of thumbnails. So you don't want to irritate them, because that again is a no, and we want to eliminate all no's and only have yeses. Oh, let me check this out. Let me check this out. Let me call them in. So that is my tips for today in the headshot. Some industry standards that I have learned over the years and that I personally always encourage my clients to follow. But again, it's your marketing strategy. So you do the research and you do what you feel comfortable with. And now it's fun to have personality pictures. Absolutely. Those are fun for Instagram, for Facebook, for, you know, even to have on hand for something, a specific, you know, role that comes up and they're like, by any chance, do we have anybody that blah, 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 and you have that on hand. So, you know, those kind of things are great to have on hand and they're fun, but they're not headshots. They're not what you're going to put on your casting profile and you're going to submit all the time. Okay, guys, I hope that helped. I hope that was a great reminder. First of all, I want to tell you guys, please, please, please leave me tons of comments. Anything that you want to know, anything you want me to cover that I haven't covered yet, leave it in a comment. I know I get tons of direct mail, direct messages, and I appreciate those. But when you leave a comment, it reminds other people of something they hadn't maybe thought of, and then they leave a comment, and it makes more conversational. So leave me a comment. And most importantly, have an amazing week this week, and I'll see you next week.